Hello, my name is Pat Egan. I work with Egan Real Estate. I'm here to answer a question a lot of people have about paying personal gains on your personal residence. So say you have your own home, you've lived there for a few years and you want to sell it. Now you would say, well, how much do I need to pay in capital gains? Well, in 1997, the IRS came out with a tax law, and where it does is for people that are single people, they have an exclusion for $250,000 in capital gains. And what does that mean? That means, so say if you buy a house that's worth 100,000 and you sell it for 350,000. So it says that 250,000 in capital gains is tax free. And the great thing also about this law is if you're a married couple, you get double that. So that means you get 500,000 in capital gains. So if you buy a house for 200, say 100,000, and you sell it for a few years later for 600,000, then you get $500,000 in capital gains as a married couple, tax free. And that's a great law the IRS put out. Now, there was an old law by the IRS, and this was replaced in this new one in 1997. But the old law said that you had a $125,000 tax exclusion. So that was really a deferment, because what it did at that time, you had to be 55 years or older. And you also, when you sold your personal property, you had to buy another property of equal or greater value. And you only had $125,000 in exclusion at that time. So this new law in 1997, it allows single people to get $250,000 in capital gains tax-free. And married people, you get $500,000 in capital gains tax-free. This is a great law to help people to avoid paying tax, especially if it's your personal residence. There's no need for us to pay that money, right? Now, the IRS has some guidelines for this law as well. Now, the biggest thing is you have to have lived in the property for 2 of the last 5 years. And so that means, 2 of the last 5 years. So if you live there for 2 years straight, you automatically get that exclusion. But say if you live there for a year, you moved out of the area and you rented the property for 2 years, then you move back and you live there for another year, then that means you meet 2 of the last 5 years requirements. So as a single person, you would get $250,000 in capital gains tax-free. And like I said, as a married couple, you would get $500,000 in capital gains tax-free. Now, there is some exceptions for this 2-year rule. Some things could be like for military service, disabilities, partial residence, and there's some other reasons, there's other exceptions the IRS has to make sure you meet this 2-year qualification. Now, the other thing is the tax-year person can do this more than once. The old law, you're only allowed to do it one time, once in a lifetime. But now you can do it every 2 years. The biggest requirement is you must live in this house for 2 of the last 5 years. As long as you met that requirement, you could keep doing it over and over. So really, technically, you could buy a house every 2 years, and any profit you made in capital gains, you could write that off. So that's a pretty big thing to have. And there is some exceptions to this 2-year rule. Also, like say if there's natural disasters, acts of war, like say you get unemployment or you have to move to another state because of employment. So there is exclusion the IRS has for this 2-year rule. So if you do fall less than 2 years, look with your accountant or on the IRS website, which I'll put a link below for that as well, to show you different exclusion methods you can use. Now, one thing as a married couple, to get the $500,000 capital gain exclusion as a married couple, only one of the people have to meet the requirement. So say if you get married to someone and she's lived there for 5 years, you just got married, you only lived there for a year. Now, since she met the 2-year requirement, you both meet it. Because say if you guys want to buy a new house together, you just got married, you both would meet that $500,000 capital gain exclusion. I hope this was very helpful. And again, my name is Pat Egan with Egan Real Estate. And if you ever need help buying or selling houses in the Philadelphia area, I do Montgomery, Delaware, Chester, and Philadelphia counties. And I'll put my information below if you need help. But thank you for your time.